Welcome to the St. Peter's Engineering College, Department of Civil Engineering. Myself, V. Gajendra, Assistant Professor, Department of Civil Engineering. So I'm going to be teaching the subject surveying and geomatics. So in the second unit, leveling. So for the today's session, I'm going to be teaching the topic Unit 2 in the leveling. Unit 1, the basic concepts of the surveying. In that we covered that the what is the linear measurements or the distantial measurements and what is the direction measurements. So basic concepts. Then in that we covered that the principles of the basic principles of surveying, how we'll go for the measurements will be linear measurements as well as the direction measurements. Linear measurements with the help of a chain and tape, and direction measurements with the help of the compass. So this we covered in the unit 1, basic concepts of the surveying. And after understanding that the basic concepts of the surveying, the second unit is going to be covering with the leveling. So here the main objective of the surveying is that surveying and geomatics is that one. So we are going to be getting that the output is, we are going to be getting the output in the form of a plan or the map. So plan or the map. So this we are going to be preparing after getting that the measurements comprises of linear as well as the angular and as well as the other measurements. With the help of linear, angular and other measurements, we are going to be preparing a plan. So the plan will be comprises of, we have to know about the 3 dimensions. So these 3 dimensions will be required: L, B and D. So the length, breadth or the width and depth or the height. These 3, once you know that one, then we can able to prepare a plan very easily. So that's why, so the objective of the surveying or the principle of the surveying will be depending upon 3 dimensions: length, breadth or width and depth or height. So in the unit 1 already we discussed about that the linear measurements of length, breadth or width. And now the leveling is going to be covering with that the vertical measurements with respect to that the given datum or the given reference line. So 3 dimensions will be required: length, breadth or the width, depth or the height. Now we are going to be coming to that the leveling is going to be called as vertical height, or we are going to be called, technically we are going to be called as elevation. Elevation, so that is going to be giving as the third dimension is going to be called as depth or the height. We want to prepare a plan of the map, so the 3 dimensions will be required: length, breadth or the width, depth or the height. Depth or the height we are able to get it from the so object of the surveying is leveling. So in this leveling we are going to be discussing about, so first one is the what is the object of leveling and uses. So the object and uses, after understanding object and uses, so the important definitions. Important definitions to understand that the leveling. After important definitions, different types of levels. So that is we are going to be called as the instruments used for leveling. Instruments used for leveling. Leveling, this is level and as well as the staff. So then then the last one is going to be called as the temporary adjustments of a level. Temporary adjustments of a level. So the today's session in the leveling, so I'm going to be discussing about what is the objective of leveling and what are the various uses of leveling. So then what are the important definitions that we are going to be using in the leveling process, or we are doing leveling survey. Then what are the instruments that we are going to be using for to carry out the leveling process or to carry out the leveling survey. So that is the level major instrument we are going to be using, and another instrument we are going to be using is going to be called as staff. Then last one is going to be called temporary adjustments of the level. So then coming to the object and as well as the uses. So the object is we are able to get the vertical elevation, or we can say that the vertical measurement. Previously, the linear measurements are completely comes under the horizontal measurement, and the leveling is going to be carry out that the vertical measurement in terms of vertical elevation, or it is going to be called as a height. In general, we are going to be called as a height or the depth. So horizontal and as well as the vertical measurements will be required to draw a plan or the map. They are the two, horizontal so and vertical. In the vertical, we are going to be measuring that the vertical elevation or the height or the depth. So that is the main objective. Here, the leveling is going to be defining that. So the art of the finding out the relative positions or relative elevations on the surface of the earth and below the surface of the earth. So that is the in that way we are going to be defining that the leveling. So the art of determining the relative vertical elevations so on the surface and below the surface of the earth, we are going to measuring it, we are going to be called as a leveling. Means here the main objective is that one. So we are going to be measuring that the vertical distance or the vertical measurement. So finally vertical elevation or the vertical measurements we are going to be measuring by using that the leveling process or the vertical measurements we are going to be carrying out that the leveling survey. This is the object. Then what are the uses of leveling? Uses of leveling. So uses of the leveling is almost each and every construction project in civil engineering, construction projects are the almost all the construction projects or infrastructure projects will be required that the leveling. So without leveling, we cannot able to do any civil engineering projects or any civil engineering constructions. So for example, if I'm going to be preparing that the playground or swimming pool. Take the example of we are going to be taking that the playground. The playground we are able to see that it is going to be called level surface. So how we are going to be achieving that the level surface? We are going to be using that the process or the method we are going to be using as the leveling. With that the leveling, we are going to be preparing the playground. Wherever you are going to be keeping, wherever you can able to see that the elevation of the points will be same. So the elevation of the points will be same. Then only we can able to get to the flat ground, or it is going to be called as level ground. So level ground is going to be resembling as a playground. So this is we are going to be achieving by using that the level. Without level, so we cannot able to achieve the playground preparation of the playground. Similarly, so we are going to be using that the swimming pools. Various depth will be required. The water will be stored in the various depth. So that the swimming pool is going to be constructed by using that the leveling process. Once again. So if you see that in the swimming pool, in one level it is going to be 3 meters, and other if you go for deeper level, 5 or 7 meters. These are the two stages of the swimming pool we are going to be constructed, depending upon that how they are going to be utilizing. So this is also going to be possible by using the principle of leveling. By using the principle of leveling. If I want to construct a road, I want to construct a road, so the road length and width is going to be constructed. So the with the principle of the leveling only. Here also we are going to be seeing that longitudinal direction and as well as in the transverse direction, there is the length and the width of the road we are going to be prepared with respect to the levels. With respect to the levels, if you see that in the road, so the central or the crown position will be in the highest elevation, the sides will be the lowest position. That in that way, the road is going to be prepared. There is a crown position we are going to be called as the camber. Camber we are going to provide it. If the water will be like this, will be the road is the central line. The road will be if the water if the rainfall comes, it is going to be coming down and it is going to be drained off. So that is the main purpose we are going to be using. If the water falls or the rainfall falls, the rainfall is going to be rainfall. So falling of the water onto the road. So it is going if the slope we are going to be provided that is going to be called as camber. So the water will be drained easily, and then we are going to provide that the storm water drains or the cross drainage works we are going to provide. It is going to be storing the water and it is going to divert the water. The water will not be stagnated on the road itself. So in that way, the road we are going to be constructed. There's the crown position, and as well as the crown position will be the highest elevation, and the edges are going to be at the lowest level. So that is with the help of leveling. The road construction, or if you go for the building construction, almost all that is the column positions we are going to be marked by using that the leveling process. So because the column has to be started from the ground and it has to be reached at the certain level. So if you take the ground level to the first floor level to the second floor level, so we are going to marking that is the elevation of the height. If we are going to be if we are not going to be finding out the correct height or the elevation, so then it is going to be called as unequal heights. So unequal heights is going to be giving us the deflection, or it is going to be called as settlement is going to occur. That's why we are going to be using the principle of leveling in the case of the column position, column marking, and it is going to be called erection of the columns. Complete the building construction, we are going to be using the level. Even we are going for the preparation of a column, then we are going to be using the plumb bob, or the plumb line is going to be giving you the straight. So whether it is going to be column will be so placed correctly, column is going to be erecting correctly or not. In the ground stage, it is be perfectly straight, and if you keep on going for the extending the length, sometimes it may be deviated. Then it is going to be called an eccentric column. So in that case, what is going to happen? So a eccentric column, the load is going to be applied onto the column, then the crack is going to be developed onto the column itself. So here in the building construction also, we are going to be using the principle of leveling. Road construction, bridge construction. If we are going for a preparation of a reservoir, so what is the depth of the water to be stored in the reservoir? So the reservoir planning completely is going to be using by the principle of leveling. Each and every construction, so using the principle of leveling. Without leveling, there is no construction is going to be taking place. So that is the various uses of leveling: playground, swimming pool, road construction, bridge construction, or it is the reservoir construction. So any kind of building construction in almost all the places. So we had to be take the help of the leveling survey, and we are going to be completing the task such that it is going to be completing that the building or the completing the road in a proper direction and a proper way. Or otherwise, it is going to be deviating the levels. Then it is going to be the failure is going to becomes and each and every the project of a construction project. So the preparation of the contours, from the contours we are going to be getting that the elevations of the points and each and every construction project that require the leveling. So we are able to use that the leveling principle in almost all the construction projects. This is about the uses of leveling. Then next one is the important definitions that we are going to be using in the leveling. Important definitions. Important definitions that will be, the first one is going to be using what is meant by the leveling. So leveling is going to be called as relative positions of the points with respect to the elevation. So that determining the relative positions of the points, relative position of points with the elevation. With the elevation, or we are going to be called as the finding that the vertical distance with respect to the datum line, with respect to datum line, that we are going to be called as leveling. The process of determining the vertical distance, or we are going to be called as the elevation of the points on the surface of the earth and below the surface of the earth, that we are going to be called as the leveling. This is the most important definition that we are going to be using for the leveling. What is meant by the leveling? Completely here we are going to be using leveling. The process is we are going to be using as vertical measurement. Vertical measurement. So vertical measurement to prepare a plan of the map that we are able to get the output from the leveling. So that is the vertical elevation, or we are going to be called as the height, vertical height. We are going to be measuring with respect to the datum line or with reference line itself. That we are going to be defining the leveling. Next is datum surface or datum line. Datum surface or line. So the datum surface or line, the term itself is going to be giving as meaning. Datum is going to be called as, we are going to be taking, this is going to be called as a datum. From this, I am going to be measuring, this is the distance. So this is vertical distance I am going to be measuring. Vertical distance of this point I am going to be measuring. So then that is going to be called as the datum surface or the line. For this, what we have to be consider the datum surface. So datum surface always we are going to be considering as the mean sea level. Mean sea level throughout the world, we are going to be considering as the MSL. MSL is we are going to be called as mean sea level. Mean sea level is going to be called as a datum. Throughout the world, they are going to be considering with respect to the mean sea level as a datum surface or the datum line. So we are able to finding out that the elevations, or we are going to be finding out the vertical measurement or the vertical distances. So that we are going to call as datum surface or the datum line. Datum is a reference point. From that reference point, so we are going to be measuring the vertical distances or the height or the elevation. So that we are going to be called as datum surface or the datum line. Then next one is going to be called as the reduced level. This we are going to be called as RL. So reduced level is that, so we are going to be reducing that the vertical elevation or the height with reference to the datum line. This is with reference to the datum line. With reference to datum. With reference to datum. So elevation we are going to be measuring. Elevation or height. Elevation of the height we are going to measure, that we are going to be called as the reduced level. We are going to be reducing the level with respect to the datum line, reducing. So that's why we are going to be called as reduced level. Always we are going to be taking the mean sea level at Karachi. Mean sea level at Karachi, we are going to be taking the reference point, or we are going to call it datum surface or the datum line. Datum surface or datum line. Datum surface. Datum surface, the mean sea level at the Karachi, we are going to consider as the datum surface or the datum line. From that, so we are going to be taking the measurement that we are going to call as reduced level. Vertical measurement we are going to be considered with respect to the MS level, mean sea level at Karachi. We are going to be taking as a datum. From that, we are going to measure that we are going to call as reduced level. The next one is going to be called as what is meant by line of collimation. Line of collimation, or we are going to be called as line of sight. Line of collimation or the line of sight. So this we are going to consider as a telescope. So this we are going to be called as eyepiece, and this is going to be called as object end. Eyepiece end and object end. Eyepiece end and object end. Eyepiece and an object end. How we are going to be defining the line of collimation? Line of collimation or the line of sight. This will be more important such that, so we are going to be taking the readings with respect to the line of sight, and once the instrument is perfectly leveled, the line of sight is going to be perfect. Then whatever the readings we are going to be taken, that is going to be giving as your vertical elevation or the height. So there is this imaginary line of sight is going to be called as imaginary line from the intersection of the crosses in the diaphragm. So from the eyepiece to the object end. So that we are going to be called as, and its continuation we are going to be called as line of sight or line of collimation. So how we are going to be determining, how we are going to be finding out is that the intersection of the crosses in the diaphragm. It is the imaginary line drawn between the intersection of the crosses in the diaphragm of the eyepiece to the object glass with the object end of the object glass, that and its continuation we are going to be called as line of collimation or the line of sight. Next one is going to be called axis of the telescope. Axis of telescope. So this we are going to be called as the, So this is also the imaginary line. It is going completely with respect to the telescope. Earlier one with respect to the level of the instrument. Now it is going to be called as it is going to be defining that the with respect to the telescope is going to be called as the. So you are going to be taking that the imaginary line drawn between the eyepiece to the kind of object end of the object glass, that we are going to be called as axis of the telescope. So imaginary line joining through that the so eyepiece end to that the object end of object glass, that we are going to call as axis of telescope. So these both will be so the parallel lines. So if you take the line of collimation or the line of sight and axis of telescope will be parallel to each other. Next one is going to be called as a benchmark. Benchmark, this we are going to call it as a BM. So benchmark. So the term itself is going to be giving as marking point, bench. So standard reference point, benchmark BM. In the leveling, what we are going to be called as, so the known elevation of benchmark will be having that the known elevation of fixed reference point. Fixed reference point. So that is we are going to be called as benchmark. So coming, we are going to be giving the example is benchmark is going to be called as target. Is the target with that above the target or below the target? Like that benchmark is going to be called as reference point of known elevation. Elevation is known from the the mean sea level, that we are going to call as reference point. So with reference point, the elevation is known. So that the point we are going to consider as the benchmark. Known elevation of fixed reference point we are going to call as benchmark. So there are the three types of the benchmarks are there. So benchmark, three types of the benchmark. One is GTS benchmark. GTS means Great Trigonometrical Survey. Great Trigonometrical Survey. So GTS, Great Trigonometrical Survey benchmark. First one is going to be called benchmark is going to be classified into four types of the benchmark. One is going to be called GTS benchmark, Great Trigonometrical Survey. So this is going to be established by the Survey of India department throughout the country. So it is going to be is standard reference points. GTS benchmark is Great Trigonometrical Survey of India or Survey of India department is going to be establishing that the reference points benchmarks throughout the country is standard points. So this will be very far. So that's why sometimes we are not able to get it. So that's the GTS benchmarks is throughout the country is going to be established by the Survey of India. That's why we are going to call as Great Trigonometrical Survey of India. So this is we are going to we are going to taking as a reference. From that we are going to be finding out the elevation or the height of the different points. Now next one is going to be called permanent benchmarks. Second type is going to be called as permanent benchmarks. Permanent benchmarks is going to be referred with the GTS benchmarks. Referred with the GTS benchmarks for the purpose of PWD, Public Works Department, Railway Department, Railways, and Irrigation Department. So permanent benchmarks is going to be established by the state government. So GTS benchmark is going to be developed by the central government of India. So that is the Survey of India is going to be developed, is going to be called as GTS benchmarks. With reference to the GTS benchmark, so we are going to be preparing or we are going to be establishing is going to be called as permanent benchmarks. The term itself is going to be giving you as meaning permanent. So the permanent is going to be referencing to that the Public Works Department, Railways, and Irrigation for their purpose. They are going to be fixing at the points with reference to the GTS benchmarks that we are going to be called as permanent benchmarks. So GTS benchmarks will be very far, and we cannot able to get the reference points. That's why in the state level, in the state within the districts, we are going to be developing that the benchmarks is going to be called as permanent benchmarks for easy of the work developed by the state department. So the GTS benchmarks is going to be established by the central government, and permanent benchmarks is going to be established by the state governments with respect to the public works department, railways, and irrigation. Then next one is going to be called as temporary benchmark. Temporary benchmark. The term itself is going to be giving as meaning that, so if it is GTS benchmark is going to be not available in a particular remote area, permanent benchmark is also is not available in a particular area. So then we are going to be taking that one point as a reference point. Benchmark is always point of known elevation, fixed point of known elevation. One point we are going to be assuming from that point. So we are going to be assuming that this is my reference point. This point of elevation is 100 meters. I'm going to be assuming that the elevation of 100 meters. I'm going to be assuming, and from this point, so the point A, the leveling work is going to be carried out, and it is going further. So the reference point I've done 100 meters is I am going to be assuming the elevation because of permanent benchmark is not available or GTS benchmark is not available. I'm going to be taking the assumed elevation. 100 meters is the assumed elevation. With the assumed elevation, other points I'm going to be determining, or other point I'm going to be establishing, that we are going to be called as temporary purpose. For the temporary purpose, I'm going to be carry out the work, so that we are going to be called as temporary benchmark. So these are the three types of the benchmarks. One is GTS benchmark, Great Trigonometric Survey of India, and benchmarks. Another one is going to be called as permanent benchmarks. The third one is going to be called as temporary benchmarks. So Great Trigonometric Survey benchmarks, GTS benchmarks established by the central government. Permanent benchmarks is going to be established by the state government, the state departments of public works, roads and buildings, and railways, and irrigation departments. Last one is going to be called temporary benchmarks. Is going to be established for temporary purpose with assumed elevation. The work is going to be carried out. Leveling work is going to be carried out to establish the points. So that is we are going to be called as temporary benchmarks. Then next one is going to be called as what is meant by the backside reading. Backside. What is meant by the backside reading? This we are going to be using with the leveling process. So after we are going to be setting up of the instrument. So leveling is going to be setting up. This is so this is the tripod, and this is the level instrument. So the tripod is going to be called a stand. Then the level instrument is going to fix it over the tripod. So then after that, after leveling process is going to be completed, then we are going to be taking the readings to determine the elevations of the points. The first point on the known elevation we are going to be taking is going to be called as backside reading. Known elevation is benchmark. On the benchmark, so this is my benchmark. Here I am going to be taking the reading. On the benchmark, I am going to be taking the reading. So then I am going to be the first reading I am going to be taking on the benchmark. After properly the leveling instrument is going to be leveled, and I am going to be taking the reading on the benchmark. Then we are going to call as backside reading. Backside reading is going to be refers to that always it is going to be called as first reading after setting up of the instrument, taking on the known elevation. Known elevation is benchmark. Benchmark is the known elevation. The known elevation I am going to be taking. Known elevation I am going to be taking, that we are going to call as backside reading. Then next one is going to be called as foresight reading. Foresight reading. So that is we are going to call as FS. Foresight reading. So this is we are going to be called as last reading. Last reading taken with one setup of instrument. With one setup of instrument. So the foresight reading is going to be called as last reading. Backside reading is going to be called as first reading after setting up of the instrument on the benchmark. We are going to be taking as backside reading. Foresight reading is going to be called as last reading taken with the one setup of the instrument. If I'm going to be taking out the day's work is going to be completed, The last reading, finished reading is going to be taken, finished work is going to be taken, the reading we are going to call as the foresight reading. Or otherwise, sometimes we want to shift the instrument, where the object is not going to be visible. So then we are going to be taking the reading also, shifting when we want to go for shifting of the instrument to the next station. So the reading I am going to be taking is going to be called as last reading. So the last reading is going to be taken as, with the one setup of the instrument, we are going to be called as foresight reading. The another one is going to be called as intermediate sight reading. Intermediate sight reading. Intermediate sight. So that is IS. Intermediate sight reading. In between the term itself here, the term itself is going to be giving the meaning. The in between backside and foresight, how many number of readings we are going to be taking, that we are going to be called as intermediate sight reading. So this is one point, this is another point. Your instrument is going to be set up over here. So this is the benchmark, and this is the last point. So I'm going to be taking the reading. This is the points. This is the taking the readings. So this is going to be called as backside reading. This intermediate sight reading. This intermediate sight reading. So this is the last point. This is going to be called foresight reading. So the backside reading on the benchmark. First reading, second, third, and fourth reading is the last reading. Fourth reading is the last reading taken on, that is the foresight reading. The remaining two will be, these two will be intermediate sight reading. Intermediate sight reading. So in between that, the backside and foresight, whatever the readings we are going to be taking, that comes under the intermediate sight reading. Then next one is going to be called as a change point. Change point is going to be called as CP. Change point is going to be called. So here also we can able to see that the term itself is going to be giving a meaning change. The instrument is going to be shifted. The instrument is going to be changes from one setup to the other setup. That where the work is going to be ends is going to be called as change point. So this is the total line. The point is the benchmark. Benchmark, and here it is going to be called as one more point than this. So this is benchmark, this is A point, and this is B point. So I'm going to be keeping the instrument over here and take the reading on the benchmark is the backside. Any number of readings I can able to take, these are all come. Then I'm going to be taking that foresight reading. Because from this location 1, from this location 1, B point is not going to be visible with the instrument. So then after the foresight is going to be taken, I am going to be shifting the instrument because the vision is going to be obstructed. So then I am going to be shifting to the instrument to the B point. So then foresight is going to be taking. This is going to become as IS intermediate sight, and this is intermediate sight. Then I am going to be shifting the instrument over here. This is second location where I taken that the foresight reading. The same point I am going to be taking once again. So this is my backside reading. As this point, A point will be having previous setup where I'm having foresight reading. The next setup I'm having that the backside reading. So this way I'm going to be called as, this point I'm going to call as change point. This point we are going to change point. Remaining wherever we are able to see that only one reading will be there. On the benchmark, backside reading we are taking, intermediate sight reading, intermediate sight reading. Here only at the change point, I am having that the foresight reading as well as the backside reading. Both will be there because the instrument is going to be shifted. Before the instrument is going to be shifted, we are going to be taking the reading is going to be called a foresight. Reason is that one, so the object is not going to be visible. Then also the instrument is going to be shifted to the second position, and then so I have to be continuing the process of leveling where I ended in the previous setup. The ended in the previous setup is a foresight. Then once again, I am going to be taking the reading on the same point, the previous setup, the last reading. There I am going to be taking the backside reading. Means this point will be having that the foresight and backside reading, that we are going to call change point. Then the process is going to be continuing this, and finally I'm going to be ended with the foresight reading. Finally, I'm going to be completing the leveling work by the foresight reading. Always end of the work by the foresight. Starting up of the work is going to be started by the backside reading. So at the wherever we are going to be instrument is going to be changes, that point we are going to be called as change point. Change point will be having that the two readings, foresight and backside reading. The next one is going to be called as height of the instrument. So height of the instrument. So this is going to be represented by HI. Height of the instrument is going to be represented by HI. So here the most of the cases we are going to consider the height of the instrument is not the height of the instrument. The instrument is going to be placed. So this is not the height of the instrument. This is wrong. Height of the instrument is that if the instrument is going to be properly leveled with respect to the line of collimation, with respect to the line of collimation, and that we are going to be called as, with respect to the ground, that we are going to be called as height of the instrument. Not with that the instrument is going to be set up on the ground, and what is the vertical height of the instrument with respect to the ground, that is not the height of the instrument. Height of the instrument is after setting up of the instrument, we are going to be properly leveled, then it is going to be called as line of collimation is going to be perfect, or it is going to be called as line of sight. Line of collimation is right. Then with respect to the line of collimation and the ground, vertical distance, we are going to be called the height of the instrument. So always, once the instrument is going to be set up and properly leveled, we are going to be taking the reading is going to be called as backside reading. First reading is always we are going to be taking as a backside reading on the benchmark. So that's why, so elevation of the benchmark plus, so I want to get the height of the instrument is elevation of the benchmark plus backside reading is going to be gives us the height of the instrument. What is the elevation of the benchmark plus backside reading in meters is going to give is going to be height of the instrument, or with respect to the line of collimation, what is the vertical distance with vertical distance from the ground, that we are going to be explaining by the height of the instrument. So these are the important definitions that we are going to be using in the leveling. So for this session, what we discussed is, once again I am going to be repeating. So what is the object of the leveling, and what are the uses of the leveling, and what are the important definitions that we are going to be using in the leveling fieldwork, or we are going to call as leveling surveying. So next session we are going to be discussing about the instruments that we are going to be using for the leveling process or the leveling surveying is level and the staff. In the level, what are the different types of the levels are available, and what are the different types of the staff or staves are available. So then, after understanding that the instruments, the level as well as the staff or the stave, then we are going for the temporary adjustments of a leveling instrument. Temporary adjustments of the leveling instrument. Then we will go for the methods of leveling. So with this, I'm going to be concluding this session with conclude with the important definitions as well as the objects and uses of leveling. Thank you.